What up, YouTube? Y'all know Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou NFZR2, baby. So you know what, peoples? I wasn't even gonna drop this video uh starting last night. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It is what it is. So yesterday, I grabbed me something to eat, and I was still in the parking lot. Had the back windows down so the dogs could breathe, right? When we're riding or when we're sitting, whatever. And some cat, parks, goes by, I see him walk in front of me. He goes to go do what he's gonna do. He comes back. I'm watching something on YouTube or something. I don't remember what I was doing exactly, but he asked me something through the back window, so I have to turn back over my shoulder and look, which I couldn't hear because of what I had going on in the speakers and all that. So I'm trying to turn it down. He hits me up about some coke, right? And I'm like, damn, bro. I said, you don't even know me. You're going to come hit me up like that. It'd have been a lot better if he would have been like, hey, what's up, OG? Or not even OG, what's up, homie? You know what I'm saying? Hey, do you know where this or that? But no, you just throw it out there. It's like hella disrespectful. But I just told him like, damn, dude, you don't even know me. You're asking me something like that. And then so he ends up going, well, what are you getting hostile for? I wasn't getting hostile at all. I said it just like that, just the way I said it right now. But the thing was, he ends up walking back in front of me. And then I can't remember if he jumped out of his car, but he shows me his thing. Right, he's got it was like a 380, probably was a 380, maybe even a 32. It didn't look bigger than that. If it was a 9, I'd be very, very surprised. But then again, you never know. These they make smaller pieces with more bang. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been a 9. I doubt it though. It was a 380 or a 32, or it could have even been a 38 automatic, which I've never seen in person. So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was a 380 or a 32. And he's woofing. He's talking hella shit too loud too. And there's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people out. So I'm like, this motherfucker, right? So I'm like, so he ends up driving off, and I'm fighting with myself now. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do, right? So I start driving like I'm gonna go at, like, I come forward, like, to go after him, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna put myself in a stupid position doing that. I got bigger things going on, better things going on than to throw my freedom away like that, you know what I'm saying? Or even my life, or, like my freedom, because I could hurt him, right? Or whatever happens could happen, and it could be bad on either side. And at the end of the day, it ain't worth it over fucking that, you know what I'm saying? So me being older now, I had to think about that, right? So it was very stupid on his part, though, to pull that thing out, show it, not use it. And then the thing was, it was nighttime, so he really didn't even see a good look at me because I'm turned over my shoulder. You know what I mean? With the jacket on and a beanie like this, he wouldn't even know it was me. You know what I'm saying? So very dumb on his part to do something like that because, the element of surprise, you guys heard me mention that before. The element of surprise is a mofo, right? If you execute it correctly, you will demolish your opponent if that's the case. Sun Tzu, baby, demolish your opponent by any means necessary. That's psychologically, that's mentally, that's physically, you know what I'm saying? You get the upper hand, and that was just but that just goes to show you, because he wouldn't have been, if he was a real gangster, he wouldn't have been, I'm not saying he won't shoot somebody. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the way he handled it. If he was really a true gangster, he would not have done all that. You know what I'm saying? When I told him off the gate, like, hey, man, you shouldn't get at somebody like that you don't know. Or, he should have took that shit in stride from an older cat telling him. Obviously, he felt comfortable enough with me to ask me something like that. So therefore, when I said, hey, you shouldn't be just asking anybody that. You don't know who I am. You don't know what, I could be a fucking piece of shit motherfucker that get right on the phone. Hey, man, this guy pulled a thing on me. You know what I'm saying? Or this guy's trying to buy, he's talking about drugs. Who knows? I'm just saying, people have done for lesser than that, pick up their phone and call the police. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't know me from Adam. He didn't know me from the hole in that fence over there. So he definitely went about that shit the wrong way. He should have took what I said in stride and be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, OG. I shouldn't have done that, whatever. But he's not. Hard-headed motherfucker think he know it all. And the reason you know that is because the way he handled that. He tries to come off professionally at first with a good speaking well, but then when it's all said and done, the bullshit comes out of him. What I mean by that is that wild bullshit, not conducting himself properly, not being professional. You know what I'm saying? He tried to be professional, but as soon as something was said that he didn't like, all the fucking baby kid came out of him. You know what I'm saying? So that was just very stupid to show somebody that. You know what I'm saying? What if I did have a big old fucking cannon underneath me or something, and I just pulled it out right there? He wouldn't have even known. I could have just pop. You know what I mean? He wouldn't even know where to hit him. It's real stupid. Why I don't understand why somebody meets somebody and just because they seen them on YouTube, that gives them, they feel comfortable enough to say, hey, look at this, look what I got, look what I carry. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Luckily for me and him, I don't have nothing, because who knows how would I handle that situation if I had something and I was back in my younger days. You know what I'm saying? I've been in those situations before. I've been in those situations in the car. Somebody else pulls a pistol on me, and I eventually get to mine and go chasing them, and then pop, pop, pop. I've been there. I've been there and done that. It's stupid at the end of the day because you can hit the wrong person. It's just dangerous doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, fortunately for me, I got mature at a certain age. Other people won't get there until they're behind bars and, looking at life without parole or life with parole, but they don't go to board for 40 years or something like that. So they got a long time to dwell on what they did and to try to change their cognitive thinking, everything about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's not possible. It is very possible, but wouldn't you rather do it out here in freedom while you're free than behind bars because your fate's still in their hands? All right. Even if the parole board finds you suitable for a date, you still got to go to the governor's office, to his desk. So he can still turn it down. I've seen that happen many times. Many times I've seen guys get a date from the parole board, but then when they get to Governor Brown's desk or Schwarzenegger's desk, they stop it. Nope. Or even Newsom's desk. There was a couple guys recently that finally did get out, but they went over. Their paperwork from the parole board went across Governor Brown's desk and Newsom's desk like 5-6 times, and they denied him every time. He finally got out though. And the reason for them doing that wasn't because of the individual. They felt he was reformed. And this guy went out numerous times for different agencies to do conventions, law enforcement conventions, federal law enforcement conventions, where they pick them up. They'd have them. I don't even know if by the time towards the end, towards the last few ones he was doing, if he was even shackled on at least the ankles. They put him in a nice button-up shirt, nice pair of slacks, and sometimes it'd be a whole suit, and he'd be looking nice, and they'd go put him in a county jail that's close to that area to where he's going to do this convention, and then, eventually he'd make his way back to the pen he was at. But this dude worked for law enforcement for the last 20 years, at least 20 years, and done numerous things as far as giving them information on the debris process itself, giving them information on how this certain group he used to be with operates, everything to look for, he gave me everything. And I think that was from 2000, 2002, 2003 or 4, he made the decision to drop out. So he was with the business from, what I mean by that, in fully active functioning with that group he was with from like 1980, I want to say it was like 1984, all the way up until 2003, I think it was. So almost 20 years. And now he's been 20 years on the other side, giving a bunch of game to the law enforcement. So he was doing his part as far as that with law enforcement, helping them out, changing his life, whatever. But the reason why he kept getting denied by the governor is because the governor said that he was such a high price target that the community would be in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? No matter where he went, the community would be in jeopardy because they would go to all lengths to get this guy. You know what I mean? He's probably one of their top targets. I would say top 5 targets for sure, and probably top 2. There's another guy that does YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Only thing with him, he dates back to the 70s or when he did his debriefing, but he's still around, very heavily in the mix. And, he has a lot of connections with the feds and all that. So he's on top of what's going on with that organization, even though he hasn't been with that organization in almost 40 years or over 40 years. So, it's a trip when it comes to that. But yeah, let me get back on track because that was just what I brought up with that was just to say that, people get behind them walls. What I mean by them walls is state prison. And then, they start working on themselves to change, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, isn't it better to do that while you're a free person than behind the walls? Because at the end of the day, your fate is in your hands out here in the street. Your fate is still in their hands when you're behind the walls. Like I just said, Brown, Schwarzenegger, Davis, Newsom, Wilson, those been the governors for the last 20 years plus here. About 27 years, almost 30 years, because you figure 94, the 3 strikes came in, we're already in 2023. So almost 30 years, those governors have been the governors, you know, blocking a lot of people's dates from getting out. Like I said, your hands are in the pro board first. Well, actually CDC, because they could write you up and just fabricate shit and change shit up. And they're always going to go with the report, just like they do in court. No matter whatever that report is, that officer, that detective put, they're going to go by that. And they're going to, because they're sworn officers, right? They're sworn officers to protect the Constitution and the safety and security of the towns and counties they're employed by. But we all know that that's a crock of shit, and a lot of people are starting to realize that now with all these, you know, with the phones, with, you know, everybody recording everything nowadays on their phones. You know, the police departments and sheriff departments are getting exposed for a lot of the bullshit they've been doing, and this been going on for years. That's why I always say, like, damn, we're in 2023, and the racism is like fucking rapid. It's rapid, whatever the fuck. It's terrible that this many years later, it seems like we never even went forward at all. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, you know, when Trump got in office, you know, some people say, oh, we like him because he says what's on his mind. Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? But that's now, you know, what happened was that opened the door for so many other people to say exactly how they feel. And I guess that's a good thing, I guess, in a sense, because it's freedom of speech. But at the same time, it was filled with a lot of hate. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't get into politics too much. I don't really like to, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know, everybody's entitled. Everybody just with opinions like an asshole. Everybody's got one, right? And it's just, I'd rather stay away from it and not even comment on some of the stuff, because then you start realizing that some people that you liked a lot got a totally different view on things than you do, and that starts to taint how you think of them, and vice versa. You know what I mean? There's three things that I've always been told don't fuck with when it comes to discussions: sports, religion, and politics. Politics usually and religion usually kicks off some fights, but sports does too. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the person's coming with some nonsense and don't know what they're talking about, or they're coming vulgar with it. You know, they're coming too strong with it. You know, then you got to stand your ground. You feel like you got to stand your ground, or you might be looked at as like a chump or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, just a little something. So anyways, peoples, I'm going to tap out on this. This is a short little 10, 12 minute video about, you know, people doing dumb shit when they, you know, that he could have did all that. What happened, let's say, talking his shit without showing that. And I would have never known that he had that. That's the way it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to expose to your enemy, even though we're not enemies at that particular moment. You know, you don't expose yourself. You don't show your hand. I mean, come on, what's wrong with people? Anyways, Big Lou, Daisy, and Champ, they're back there snoring. You guys probably can hear them. I just got done feeding them. I fed them a little late today because it was raining, and I didn't want, it's just, I'll explain all that later. But anyways, we're going to tap on out. Catch you on the next one.